defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on.
Thank you very much for that, Ian Wright. People deluded, I'm back again. It's January the 31st. It's deadline day, people. You have until midnight where Arsenal are concerned to complete the signing of Jorginho. Or if you've got any hopes for Moises Caicedo, which it probably looks like it's going the same way as Mudryk, as João Felix, as Vlahovic, as really any target that Eddie fails to bring into this football club where we need to get things done. But away from that, people deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope everyone's blessed. Please make sure you smash the like button, you turn on the notifications, and you comment your thoughts. Appreciate you lot for tuning in. Appreciative of you lot's support. You know, as I just said, it's deadline day. As we know, news is going to be emerging, and I've done a lot of videos. Check out the rest of them on Twitch and YouTube, people, and I'm sure we'll be live or something to speak again. At the time of making this video, it's 9:32 a.m. in the United Kingdom. I'll probably be live at 11:30 or so to reiterate these news and all of these sort of things that emerge. You know, it's a long day, in it, people. But without wasting any more time, let's see at this moment in time where we are in terms of Arsenal transfer news. Start with the Athletic. Arsenal advancing towards Jorginho agreement with Moises Caicedo deal highly unlikely. There are some sources that say he's en route to London Coley. Arsenal advancing towards an agreement for Jorginho. That is now their most likely recruit, with an acceptance that Brighton's resistance to selling Moises Caicedo means that the deal will not materialise. The Athletic reported last night that Arsenal were exploring international. The Premier League leaders are very light on cover for first choice holding midfielder Partey with El Nene absent. I mean, he can play as a deep lying like the 6 role, but he's not really the steel sort of number 6 we're looking for. So the first thing would be the profile player. I get the experience. I get the fact that Arteta is a fan of the player. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's actually a decent recruit, but it's just in terms of a like for like change for Partey, we do not have that within the squad. Obviously, El Nene is injured. To a degree, that means he's irrelevant. You can play young Kiwior in that 6th position if that's an angle we want to go down, because he's done it in Spain, but it's not exactly that. You'd imagine Jorginho is more like for like replacement for Granit Xhaka in that pivot. So it is quite light, and it's just shown really that it's been a disappointing January window. Don't get it twisted. I like the fact that we've reacted, and obviously you wanted Kiwior and you got Trossard, fine, but for Edu, who is now the sporting director, it does feel as a fan that Mikel Arteta is consistently shortchanged for things. And half the time, even with Jorginho, you hear that Arteta is the driving force. So if Arteta wants him fair play, it's just a bit inconsistent, because what's his wages? What's the contract length? What is the length of the contract, the wages and things like that? We heard we didn't want to spend 20 million on Yuri Telemans because his contract is running down. You know, we're probably helping Chelsea with their FFP business. You know, it's good business flushing out Jorginho. You know, they'll probably spin the block for Caicedo. It does feel very reactive. Now, again, unfortunately, we just not got it done. Mudryk didn't bang, Felix didn't bang, Moises Caicedo didn't bang in for one reason or another. Not necessarily criticizing their due, because if the finances don't make sense, you know, in the case of Mudryk, if you feel it's too expensive of a loan in João Felix, that's fair enough. Moises Caicedo, you've probably, you know, no one can accuse Edu of lowballing Brighton. You know, whether Brighton should have sold or whatnot is another thing. But fundamentally, have we got certain things done or not? Probably not. You know, we've brought in additions out wide, and obviously defense. They were areas Arteta wanted, fine, but it just feels like Arteta is consistently shortchanged by Edu Gaspar, if I'm honest. But nonetheless, Mikel Arteta is thought to have been the driving force behind the North London side's interest in Jorginho. Arsenal have chased Brighton's Caicedo throughout the window, but the South Coast club are adamant they will not sell him. They have now turned to Jorginho, whose contract at Stamford Bridge expires in the summer. This means Chelsea are at risk of losing the 31-year-old for nothing if he does not leave on a permanent basis in this window, people. So yeah, apparently Chelsea are trying to push for Enzo Fernandez. Any move Arsenal make for Jorginho may well depend on the success of Chelsea's efforts to to secure Fernandes. You're right in that regard. It probably does. Further confirmation, Arsenal advancing towards an agreement for Jorginho. That is now their most likely recruit, with the acceptance that Brighton's resistance to selling Moises Caicedo means that the deal will not materialise. This is despite his agents pushing and things like that, and him doing what he's doing on the socials. You need to find an agreement with his club. Shout out to young Marquinhos, who has joined. Apparently, rumours he began training with Norwich yesterday, but now we have official confirmation that he heads to the Championship side on loan for the rest of the season. Hopefully, he plays some football. There was rumours he was drawing interest from clubs in Brazil. Obviously, it makes sense for Arsenal to have him play in England or in Europe. David Ornstein's offered his opinions. Charles Watts has weighed in. Arsenal closing in on agreement for Jorginho. Understand he has been given permission to travel to Arsenal this morning to finalise his move, while the two clubs are putting the final touches on the deal. Not signed yet, but looking increasingly likely it will happen, people. I don't know who Mr. Tolbo is. Again, everybody can just come out and say things. I don't know if he's reliable. I don't know who he is really, but he said initially 2 hours ago, here, there's been some movement on Moises Caicedo and Arsenal, more as I get it. It's my understanding Arsenal have lodged a third bid for Moises Caicedo, a club record, huge single payment as one lump sum. Deal's been agreed. Again, don't know him from Larry, all depends. Last night, you actually heard Arsenal confident they will, again, when you hear Arsenal are confident and hopeful of signings, it starts to make me look at things a bit shaky, really. But for what it's worth, last night you heard Arsenal confident they will bag 75 million Brighton star Caicedo, but still plan to make move for West Ham's Rice in the summer, says Mark Irwin. I mean, it's funny how moves fail and then like clockwork deals about in the summer happen and we do full circle again. Eddie really has to pull his finger out. Arsenal still hoping to land a last gasp deal for Moises Caicedo ahead of the transfer deadline, but whatever happens with the Brighton midfielder will not affect Arsenal's plans to sign West Ham captain Declan Rice this summer. Fair enough. Brighton have said he's not for sale. You've pushed as much as you can. You don't want to, make a problem with Brighton because we've got good relations. It is what it is, really. But again, I can only deal with who's at the club and who isn't. And it would have been nice to have a like-for-like Partey/El Nene figure away from Jorginho. It does appear that our transfer business appears a bit scattergun, and there is a lot of consistencies, but definitely inconsistencies. And it's kind of failed. It's kind of ended the same way last Jan did, and kind of how the summer did. In that, we've done a couple things, not really got other things over the line. And to be honest, we've been knowing we need a midfielder, regardless of who is injured or whatnot, people. Apparently, the Premier League leaders have been given the green light by owner Stan Kroenke to get the Caicedo deal over the line. I mean, Brighton said they're not selling, didn't it? That's even if it means paying a club record fee. They already had 2 bids rejected by Brighton owner Tony Bloom, who maintained the 21-year-old Ecuador international is not for sale at any price, but they're ready to make one last bid to persuade the Seagulls to cash in and are willing to go, as high as 75 million. Arsenal's refusal to take no for an answer suggests talks could go to the wire tonight. I mean, we've seen that before. Telemans, Douglas Luiz, etc. I hope young Moises Caicedo gets a new deal because it's a crime he's only getting paid 3 to 5 grand, people. I don't know. So we'll have to see. For what it's worth, Roberto De Zerbi said, I'd like it if he can finish the season with us, but we are ready to go forward without him. Well, Chelsea fans are probably saying welcome to Chelsea. Arsenal have not submitted any bid or open talks to sign Ibrahim Abamba, not even to prepare the deal for next summer. Understand the Italian talented midfielder is available for 7 to 8 million to leave Victoria Guimaraes now, but the race is still open, nothing agreed yet, allegedly, says Fabrizio Romano. Sambi Lokonga has been drawing interest all January. Apparently, he's set to remain at Arsenal despite interest from Monaco. They did try to get him on loan, and apparently they bidded 8 million euros, which is a myth. Again, Ryan Taylor says Jorginho is of interest to Arsenal, but my understanding is still prioritizing this. Arsenal is still prioritizing the signing of Moises Caicedo. Third bid remains under consideration, with the 21-year-old Ecuador international desperate for the move. Clubs striving to bolster midfield options. I mean, you hope to wake up that and see he sign for us, but that's a myth. Allegedly, Crystal Palace are open to making a loan bid for Sambi Lokonga. If Vieira can't get a tune out of him, no one can, but it doesn't make sense unless you confirm Jorginho or someone else at the club. Matt Smith is wanted by German side Augsburg, along with a number of championship sides ahead of the deadline, including QPR. Arsenal willing to let him go with the hopes of another midfielder coming in. I mean, Matt Smith is over at Arsenal, innit? Big up the Highlanders, but you haven't got a snowball's chance. You've been on the bench enough times. You've been training with Arsenal. You've come through the academy. It's now time to go and set up shop elsewhere, really. So, yeah, people, at 11:30, I'll be live again to see any other news, but that's at this moment in time at 9:40, all I've got, people. So, seems like Jorginho is ticking along. Another one bites the dust where Moises Caicedo is concerned, people. Big up to you lot. Let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, etc. And I'll see you lot soon and a couple of times today. One love.
There's always just that active and defending.
I think it's like